Welcome to Sitcom Showdown, a podcast that reviews classic sitcom episodes and inducts them into our very own Hall of Fame. As usual, one of us has chosen a sitcom episode and the other guy has no idea what it's going to be. Will they already know it? Will they love it? Can they be convinced that it's worthy? Let's find out on the Sitcom Showdown. Hello and welcome to Sitcom Showdown episode number 60. Ooh, we haven't got a title for it yet because you, Steve,
yes,
are about to tell us which sitcom we're looking at this time around.
I am. It's the second of our 2 October
Halloween
episodes about Halloween. Yes, so I've chosen Night Court. Have I caught you off guard with that?
Well, you have. I wasn't expecting Night Court, but I should have seen all the signs because you've been watching it.
I've dipped my toe in the pool. It's an episode called Halloween 2, The Return of Leon.
Okay.
Leon. No, it's Leon.
Oh.
This is episode 4 of season 4.
Right. What year is it from?
Ooh.
Oh, I know that's coming up,
Well,
but I just want to ask
it ran for 9 seasons from 84 to 92, so approximately 88, 89, something like that.
Okay. Oh, the peak of human civilization.
Was it? Really? Cultural things?
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. Shall I tell you a bit about Night Court?
Yes, please do.
Okay, this is, again, ripping stuff off left, right and centre from Wikipedia. The description is, an eccentric, young, fun-loving judge presides over an urban night court in Manhattan and all the silliness going on there. Now, there is a night court in Manhattan. There was and there still is.
Okay.
And it must be a bit of a freak show because it's a bit of a tourist thing. One of those things you do when you go to New York is to visit the night court and suss out all the goings on there.
Yeah.
This was from the NBC network in the US. You probably guessed that already.
Yes.
Was
Seinfeld an NBC show in the beginning? Let's say it was, just for fun. Okay.
Can't remember.
Fair enough.
Say
no more.
Don't ask me for details. Harry Anderson stars as Judge Harold Harry T. Stone.
Okay.
So we've got the name thing going on again where the character has the same name as the actor. So Harry Anderson started out on Saturday Night Live, which led to a recurring guest role on Cheers as Harry the Hat.
Right, so he specialises in playing Harrys as well as being a Harry.
Yes, which I'm about to show you a little bit of because it's lots of fun.
Okay.
Hey, Coach, where's Sam?
He'll be out in a minute, Harry.
Want to play for a drink?
Not a chance, Harry. No way.
Smells fear.
We're back.
Yeah.
That was an enjoyable little clip.
Are you sure you're not
Harry
playing
the
with
Hat.
fire here, Steve?
Why?
Showing me a fantastically
Yes.
ultra high quality clip of
It's
the
all
Cheers
downhill from now.
episode that is going to make Night Court look poorer by comparison. Who knows?
Possibly. Anyway, after Night Court, Harry went on to star in a sitcom called Dave's World, which was on CBS from 93 to 97. So he must have gone pretty much straight from Night Court to that.
He must have had a bit of a charmed life. You know, he's been handed these sitcom roles and things like that. He only looks like he's about, 17 years old.
I'm glad you mentioned
Holy
that.
moly.
Harry, the character, the judge, is a young baby-faced, good-humoured jurist and amateur magician.
Right.
Whose parents were former mental patients. He was very young for a new judge, being only 34 when he took the bench.
Uh-huh.
He got his assignment because the outgoing mayor made a huge number of appointments on his last day, and Harry was the only person on the judge's list who answered the call and accepted the nomination.
Oh, so
Yes.
no one else wanted to do Night Court?
Possibly they were just out at the time.
Oh, okay.
So he is baby-faced. He's the Dave Nelson of Night Court judges.
All right, good. Yeah, no, that's an extremely good way to put it.
Yeah, so it's interesting that this actor, Harry, was also a magician. And he passed away last year at the age of 65.
Which is too young.
And when I say he was a magician, he actually made a living for himself when he was younger.
Being a magician, there you go.
Doing street theatre and that sort of stuff.
Oh, well, that's a good story.
Yes. Well, let's move on to someone else. Marjorie Markey Post is an American actress. She plays Christine Sullivan, who's the public defender at Night Court. And she was also in The Fall Guy. Do you remember The Fall Guy?
I do remember The Fall Guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That had Lee Majors in it, didn't it?
Yep.
The former $6 Million Man. And she was in another show afterwards called Hearts of Fire. So they're the ones that she's best known for. Now, her opposition, prosecutor Dan Fielding, is played by John Larroquette.
Well, we know him.
Yes, this is his best known role.
Oh, okay.
And it won him 4 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a comedy series, back to back, basically 85 through 88. And in 1989, he asked not to be considered for an Emmy Award.
Oh, really?
He said, no, I've had enough.
All right, it's getting embarrassing now.
Well, the mantelpiece is full.
Yeah.
No more.
Far out. Okay, so I wonder if that's ever been matched.
Yes.
You know, in terms of 4 in a row for any particular award. Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out.
Maybe a BAFTA.
Yeah, could be.
He went straight on to the John Larroquette Show from 93, and that was cancelled 1 month into its 4th season.
Okay, fair enough.
But that's apparently a bit of a cult classic.
Oh.
It focuses on some darker themes like the character's alcoholism
Ooh.
and things like that. But I know him, or first saw him in Boston Legal.
Yeah.
And you might know him, Jeff, from The Librarians.
Oh, totally. Yep.
Now, it's got him listed as Jenkins/Galahad. Mm-hmm. So what's that, 2 different characters?
No. Jenkins is Sir Galahad.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's an immortal being. Yeah.
So he was a knight and then he became a librarian.
Yeah. No, he's not a librarian. He's like, the custodian of the library, so to speak. Let's think of him as the janitor, but a highly important janitor.
Janitor of... You're making it sound less and less exciting all the time.
I'm making it sound less exciting. I didn't want to go down this road, but he does a bloody great job, John Larroquette, in that. But are you going to bring up his attempt at being Basil Fawlty?
No.
At some point?
Tell me about that.
Oh, well, he was in the American go at trying to do Fawlty Towers, which would, I imagine, be a stain on an otherwise brilliant career.
Yes. Maybe I saw it and I decided not to mention it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yes, I guess we're working our way towards Lurch, are we?
Yes. In fact, he's the next one.
Oh, cool.
What do you mean, Lurch?
Tell me about him.
He's Richard Mole, and he plays Bull Shannon. Bull's is his nickname. A seemingly dim-witted hulk of a figure who is actually patient, gentle, and childlike.
Oh.
That's who you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why did you call him Lurch? Just because he's huge?
Isn't he a tall, bald dude?
He's very tall.
Yeah.
He's got a shaved head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Lurch.
Yeah.
From the Addams Family.
It's been a while since I watched the Addams Family.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mac Robinson is the court clerk, and he was played by Charles Robinson, and he appeared from season 2 onwards. Now, there's a couple of non-regulars I need to mention, so you know what the dickens is going on when we talk about this episode.
Okay, right.
Okay, so the first one is Dan's boss, District Attorney Vincent Daniels, played by Daniel Frischman. He appears in several episodes, and it says here, though initially underestimated because he was a little person, he had an extremely tough personality and often had it in for Dan.
Right.
So Daniel appeared as an Ewok.
Oh, okay.
Well, it must have been the 3rd.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
I'll get in trouble if I say the 3rd of the Star Wars movies.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on which way you look at it. And an episode of Married with Children, The Harder They Fall.
Okay. Yeah.
In this episode, apparently Steve gets cut off in traffic and Peggy gives the driver of this car that cut them off the finger.
Oh, no.
And then Steve's worried that he's going to get beaten up.
Yep.
And someone knocks on, like Al's obviously around there trying to help Steve out of this situation or something like that. And then there's a knock on the door. Yeah. And Al convinces Steve that if he quickly opens the door up and lands a punch first before the other person can do anything, then it's all going to go swimmingly well, but he actually decks.
Yeah. The little person.
This little person that's turned up at the front door.
Oh. That doesn't look good.
Does that sound familiar?
It does sound familiar. Yeah.
It's never a good look, is it?
No.
And then lastly, there's a character called Leon who we've already mentioned, because his name's in the title. Yeah. He's a young delinquent that was fostered by Harry for a short time. Okay.
And now he's popped up in Harry's court.
Yes, he's returned.
Okay.
Yes, that all happened in seasons 2 and 3. This episode was written by Linwood Boomer, who went on to produce Malcolm in the Middle. Oh. And the pilot US version of Red Dwarf.
Aha. Yes, which had the original Crichton in it.
It did.
And was also
Robert
awful.
Llewellyn.
Yeah.
And was also crap.
Yeah.
Is that what you were about to say?
It is indeed what I just said. And this is what happens. They bring in the best character from the other shows, though I'd argue Lister's the best character, or Rimmer. Anyway, so they bring in Crichton and do an American Red Dwarf. Just terrible. And then they did the IT crowd and they bring Moss over.
Yeah.
And again, just terrible.
Just work.
Play the original series.
Yep.
Well, this show's got all sorts of little connections here and there, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Now,
Should we go and watch it?
We
you
won't.
want to know something else? What do you
Because
wanna know?
we've fallen out of the habit of asking each other about how we
Yes.
first encountered these shows, which is quite easy because you'd assume that we haven't encountered it and you've only encountered it in the last year or so. Is that right? Or
So I think I'd seen the name mentioned off and on. And obviously it had a profile at the time. It went for so many seasons. And people got, as we've already heard, people got Emmys for it and things like that. So
Yeah.
But I don't know that it was ever big in Australia, but I had heard the name recently in the last couple of years. And then you can find it streaming online. Unfortunately, not on YouTube, so we're going to have to watch it.
Yeah, or Netflix, not on Netflix either.
No.
Okay.
Yes, what about you?
Well, I'd never watched it back in the day, and the only reason I know anything about Night Court is because when I was a kiddie, I used to read Mad Magazine, and they must have done taking the mickey out of Night Court at some stage, which is how I know vaguely what the characters look like, and about Lurch, the tall bald dude and stuff.
Yep.
And so the only exposure I've had to Night Court is some 30-year-old Mad Magazine, probably before I was even a teenager.
Yep.
I'd imagine. So figure that one out.
It's funny they take the mickey out of a show that doesn't take itself very seriously.
Yeah.
Oh well, shall we go and watch it then?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool.
Hey, Mac.
How you doing, sir?
I feel like $1 million. All right, people, we got justice to dish out, and it's getting cold. It's getting
Sir! Leon!
Bull, I know.
I saw him in your office. Naturally, I wanted to keep him there, so I snuck into the room and jumped him from behind.
You what?
Unfortunately, he managed to run up my chest and escape over my back. He's gone.
Oh, no.
I know, sir.
Should we go through a synopsis of that episode, Jeff?
Okay.
Right. So we start with the cold open. Christine is entering the judge's office because she wants to get a continuance signed, and he's sitting in his chair and his back is turned towards her. He swivels around and he's wearing a mask, some kind of a skeleton mask or something like that. It's got a snake coming out of its eye, which gives her a right fright. And he says, I think I've got something stuck in my eye. Can you see it? She's not overly impressed.
No.
So he's getting ready for the party tonight. The party he is hosting, I should add.
Okay.
Yes. So this is the second Halloween episode that Night Court had done. So we've established previously that Harry loves throwing a Halloween party.
Okay.
What do you expect from a magician? So he loves the props and the trickery and all that sort of stuff. But Christine, as we've already said, she's not pumped. She thinks the last party was too grotesque. Apparently an appetizer bit her.
I see.
Yes. So, acting shocked, Harry puts this assertion to Mac, who has entered the office holding a box. Mac says he can't believe what he's hearing, and he moves the box to put it down onto the desk or something like that. This box, which is full of Halloween props, and an alien pops out of his chest.
Yes.
That's a chest burster or something like that from Alien.
I reckon.
Yep. Yeah, which again doesn't particularly impress her. So after a bit more conversation, she decides to take off, which leaves Harry and Mac there discussing the party food, which includes very realistic finger sandwiches, which Mac suggests they hook over the dip bowl.
Yep.
So getting right into the theme of it there. Now, Mrs. Lund, who is the lady from Juvenile Services, enters the office and Mac departs.
Right.
Now, she cracks an invitation to Harry's party. You can see he's just trying to rope anyone he possibly can into going to this party. So she gets an invite, which she's not too interested in, but she's got news about Leon, who is back in Manhattan after living on the street after escaping authorities.
Yeah.
Apparently, he escaped from a set of handcuffs, as if by magic.
Now, who could have taught him that?
Yes, who could have taught him that? Harry is looking sheepish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we cut to the intro. Sometime later, Mac re-enters the office to fetch Harry, who is now berobed because the shift is about to start, the night shift. Harry is feeling a bit guilty that Leon is on the street and worried about him. And he's cutting his wrist with a comedy machete.
Yep.
Yep. One of those props we were talking about. Max says, look, if Leon is going to show up anywhere, he'll be coming to see Harry.
Yeah.
For sure. So essentially, don't worry about it too much.
Well, it makes logical sense.
Yes, he'll make his way here. So Harry composes himself and walks out into the corridor where he spots someone walking through in a costume. I think it's a chipmunk, or is it a squirrel costume?
Yeah, either or.
There's a joke about acorns later, so
Oh, okay.
it would be a squirrel, wouldn't it? That would be gathering acorns.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right.
Um,
So, yeah, a child-sized person in costume.
I think Piglet eats acorns. Anyway, let's not dwell on the acorns too much.
That's true.
So he thinks that Leon is wearing the costume and that
Snuck
Leon's come to see him disguised as the squirrel or whatever it is. So he steps back into his office and he's ready to pounce as he goes past his door, which he does. So he grabs the squirrel, lifting it off its feet and excitedly asking it for a kiss and a hug. And then removing the headpiece reveals District Attorney Vince Daniels. What?
Yes. How embarrassing.
Yes. Luckily, Vince is in a good mood because he's just been to an office Halloween party.
Oh, okay.
Hence the disguise. Costume. Hence the costume.
Yeah.
And he gets invited to Harry's party later.
But he can't
unfortunately, he can't be there because he's got his own party back at his apartment.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's already busy. Yes, and then Harry says he remembers now about that party. Someone had told him about it. Cue Dan running around the corner.
Right.
And basically slides on his knees in front of Vince. And immediately Vince's demeanour changes. And Dan on his knees is begging to be invited to the party. And it's obvious that he's not doing this for the first time. He's been on it
all day.
Vince for a long time.
Possibly even for days.
Yeah.
Oh, now, just to reiterate for the listener who probably already knows this perfectly well from listening to the cast reel off earlier, that Vinny D, he's the boss of Dan, essentially.
Yes, essentially.
Dan wants to go to this party to not only suck up to the boss, but all the guests of authority and importance that he assumes are going to be there.
Yep. And Harry says, I think I've remembered who told me about this party. It's pretty obvious. Then Vince, because he's getting sick and tired of this, says that if Dan mentions it again, he's going to make his life a living purgatory, which is kind of a bizarre threat. What do you think?
I'll just sack him.
A living purgatory. How does that work?
Aside from the semantics of the whole thing. Yeah. I always get annoyed with this in sitcoms.
What's that?
Because I remember when we did Brooklyn Nine-Nine at this time last year, so why doesn't the captain just sack Detective
Jake Peralta?
Yes, Jake's the best detective they've got, and he's awesome, and that's why he doesn't sack him. And I go, okay, well, I'm willing to buy that.
Yep.
Yeah. So is Dan equally awesome at being a lawyer?
Dan does get a compliment on his paperwork.
Yeah.
Later in the episode. From Vince. So it seems that Vince can see his worth, despite the fact that he's an annoying git.
Okay.
Dan is very disappointed because he's going to, quote, miss the suck-up opportunity of the century.
Yeah.
Oh, because the mayor is going to be there, we've discovered. Christine's come in to the conversation at this point and she says, I heard the mayor was going to be there. So Dan gets even more upset. So we cut that scene and we move to the courtroom where Harry seems distracted. He's barely paying attention to proceedings against a character called Easy Mary.
Yeah, we can tell what she does for a living.
Yes, I described her as I was trying to figure out how to describe her, and I came up with an elderly lady of the night.
Yeah. Yep.
Played by Estelle Harris, who is best known for...
She's instantly recognisable as Mrs. Costanza.
Mrs. Costanza, George's mum from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Also the voice of Mrs. Potato Head.
Oh, really? Okay.
Toy Story 2.
Toy Story, right, okay.
Yes. Very recognisable from her voice. Harry apologises. He's got things on his mind. And the Bull has come into frame at this point, and he says, was it intense longing, subconscious guilt, feelings of paternal inadequacy? Nice little line there. So they wrap the case of Easy Mary up, and Vince appears to drop case reports off to Dan, and Dan then takes the opportunity to make another play for a party invite. I think he's saying something along the lines of, I'll play the piano, I'll do impressions, and these are great things that everyone wants to have at a party.
Yeah.
So, come on.
Where's my invite?
Yeah, where's the invite?
And please don't sack me for being annoying.
That doesn't go down well. Mac tries to cheer Harry up with news that Wide World of Guts has delivered the rest of his party favours. What are you groaning for?
I didn't catch that when we were watching it.
Oh, that one slipped past
Wide
me.
World of Guts.
Yeah. But he's not interested, which is very unusual.
Oh, Harry.
Yes, poor Harry. He's down in the dumps. So he calls a recess and returns to his office, where he finds a vampire waiting for him. A very tall vampire. It turns out this is Leon, in costume, standing on a box.
So we finally get to see this kitty.
Yep, we finally get to see Leon. And it's a bit of a difficult encounter at first, as Leon is worried that Harry would dob him in. But they
child services for being a missing child and all that sort
exactly.
of stuff.
He is a judge, so he's got a certain a duty to uphold.
Done right.
Yes. Anyway, they come to an agreement and put that behind them, and they begin to catch up on where Leon has been. At the end of that, Harry asks, why have you come back? But they're interrupted before he can get to the bottom of that. Essentially, Harry has to go back, right? Because the court is... everyone's waiting in court for him. So Leon agrees to stay put while Harry goes back to work. And Harry returns to court in a much better mood. But that's short-lived, because Bull comes in and says that he saw Leon in his office and tried to catch him, but he got away.
Yeah.
Climbed up my chest and over my back.
Yeah, it was a good description.
Harry, who is worried that Leon is now gone for good, launches into a bit of a tirade against Bull, who had the best of intentions.
Yeah, unlike everyone else, he's actually doing his job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dan is getting concerned because if they can't find Leon and sort all this out, then he's going to be late for Vince's party.
No, yeah.
So he's not happy. He's trying to just hurry things along as quickly as he can. Christine says, but, you've been told not to go to this party, and he's going to have your head on a plate if he finds you there, so what's the deal with that? He reveals that he's decided to crash it in costume, quickly suck up to the mayor when Vince isn't looking, and then he's going to take off.
Right. Okay.
So the boss will be none the wiser.
He's a very career-focused chappy.
He is in this
Dan,
episode.
to go to ridiculous lengths to try and, I don't know, become future DA one day or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
He wants to climb that ladder. Then Leon comes into the courtroom, followed by Bull. Well, actually, chased by Bull.
Yeah.
Naturally, he thinks, because he's being chased by Bull, that Harry must have told him that he was in Harry's office. Cue a dramatic and somewhat confusing scene. And Harry says, look, you didn't have to run off. Bull just didn't know about our arrangement. And then Christine goes, arrangement? What arrangement? And then she has a go at Harry for promising
to not turn Leon into child services.
Because that would be the right thing to do, technically. Harry says maybe he cared too much, and he gets really upset and goes on a complete and utter rant about Leon treating him badly and how he's over it and wants Leon out of his life.
Yeah.
And he gets told off again by Christine. I should say, because Leon burst into tears after this. So he gets told off again by Christine, and Harry considers this and says that Christine is right. And he reveals that when Mrs. Lund first told him about Leon being sighted, he notified the guards. Must be at the entry to the building, right? So that if Leon came in, he wouldn't be getting back out again.
Just don't let him out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he explains why he did it, which was to protect Leon, because Leon needs someone. And but he says, or he explains to Leon that when Leon left previously, he was hurt real bad, and he won't let it happen again. So they reconcile, they hug. All's well that ends well. Bull is crying. It turns out not because he's happy about what's happened with Harry and Leon, but because he realises he's not in trouble anymore. They've all moved on. Mrs. Lund arrives into court, and Leon says that he wants some parents now. So he's been turned around. But before he goes, he admits that he came back because he wanted to be caught by Harry.
Yeah.
So Harry kind of tricked Leon by having told the guards
Yeah.
about Leon, and Leon kind of tricked Harry
By pretending that he didn't
by
want to
pretending
get
they
caught.
didn't want to be caught. So
Mm.
they were tricking each other.
It would just be easier in life if people were upfront. Yeah.
Wouldn't be so much fun, though.
Oh.
Yes. They leave. That's Mrs. London, Leon.
Mm.
And Harry says, well, everyone in the court knew
That
I was acting as I was going through this big rant, apart from Christine, apparently.
Mm.
Even Harry says to all the people that are in the court who are all wearing, kind of milling around wearing Halloween costumes, you guys knew that I was acting, didn't you? And they're all like, yeah, I knew. So she feels like a bit of a dill, I think. Anyway, we close with Dan, who is now dressed as the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz, and he's trying to sneak into the party, so he's kind of dashing through the halls of this apartment building, trying not to be spotted and that sort of thing. And he kind of backs into Vince's apartment.
Yeah.
And then you...
Softly.
Softly. And then you cut to the scene inside of the apartment, and he turns around, and basically there's a room full of dwarves, and none of them are wearing Halloween costumes.
No, they're beautifully attired.
They're
in
very well dressed.
Cocktail attire.
Yeah, Vince
and
is
all
wearing a
that
three-piece suit and a tie.
Yeah, and so they all stare up at him.
He stands out like a sore thumb.
So you can see why he now doesn't want Dan to be at this party.
Well, we're going to talk... I'm going to pick your brains on that.
Oh, I mean, apart from the obvious reasons of Dan would be a complete embarrassment,
Yeah. That is the most
Probably
obvious
trying
one.
to play piano with his toes and juggle at the same time or something.
Yep.
While having none of the skills of Harry. Anyway, sorry, continue.
It's all right. Well, no, we're at the end of that.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go from here? I've basically got things to talk about, and then I've got some gags.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, what did you think about the plot lines? There were two of them. There was Harry and Leon, and then the Dan getting into Vince's party plot line.
Right. Well, the party one was a complete disaster, I thought.
Was it?
Yeah, just going over, because A, I don't buy it in the first place, even remotely, and then B,
Why don't you buy it?
No, because I don't buy the whole boss-underling relationship between Vinny and Dan.
Oh.
You know what I mean? That just wouldn't happen. As I said last year with the Jake and the Captain thing.
No.
That just wouldn't happen. But also, this guy, if he's really career focused, he'd concentrate on winning some cases and get the hell out of this whole night court situation he's in, and build up a stellar record instead of wasting his time with the frippery of, bloody trying to get into Halloween parties on the off chance of sucking up to someone. And what I don't understand
That
is...
sounds like hard work and not so much fun.
Man. How, if it's a night court, is he going to have a party that night or even get to another party that night? It's a night court.
Yeah, well, maybe it's a party that starts late or something.
Oh, right, okay. Because that wasn't quite explained from the beginning. But yeah, anyway.
Well, he is trying to get... So we're basically watching the first part of the court session, right? So they say they start at 9 p.m.
Okay.
Something like that. And he is trying to get away as quickly as he can from the whole proceedings. So, the party could would definitely be swinging still at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, surely.
Okay. Wow, I'm not sure. Oh, well, either way, that's
It'd still
neither
be
here nor
rocking.
there either, because we're talking about the two plots.
Yeah. Okay, so...
So the party plot, I think it felt a bit laboured, but the other one is all very go ahead.
Actually, I liked the party one better than...
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, is this because John Larroquette's so over the top, or?
Yep.
Right, okay.
Pretty much.
Oh, right.
Well, this kind of leads us on to the tone of the show, because it's quite a mix of the dramatic and the comedy.
Yeah.
Which could be a reflection of Harry's character, because he's kind of playful and open-hearted.
Mm.
So it kind of lends itself to more dramatic storylines. But they do, even the scene which we talked about in the courtyard.
Yeah.
In the courtroom.
Yeah.
That too. It's quite dramatic, but then Bull's coming in and making these funny little comments as we go through. So it's...
Yeah, there's
not
comic relief.
There's a little bit of comic relief peppered in there. What did you think about that? The dramatic bits.
It's all very earnest, and so it's sold on this fun-loving judge, and it all starts off very sort of happy, and we're going to have a party, and then it gets all very sort of earnest, and it's heartwarming, but it's also a bit heartbreaking and stuff like that. And you think, this isn't very fun.
Yeah,
and all
Harry's
these sorts of
completely
things.
forgotten about his party.
Yeah, that's right. And so you just think, there's long stretches where there's no actual jokes, and it's just, this. If you were watching it and you knew the whole Leon backstory, you'd be totally clued in as to what's happening, and you would have had all the so much emotional impact from that.
Yep.
But if you've only just come into it, that emotional impact isn't going to hit you very hard. So it all depends on context, doesn't it? But yeah, it is very mixed. Yes.
I was a bit confused by that scene.
Had you seen all this? Do you mean the pretending not to want Leon back and saying
Yes.
get out of here, and then all the games that everyone's playing?
Like, I don't think it was very apparent that he was acting
No,
or pretending through
and
that
and
scene.
it shouldn't be to the audience either, should it?
No, and I was thinking to myself,
Because if
blimey,
yeah,
I can't believe a judge would carry on like that
in the middle of a courtroom,
in the middle of a courtroom. He'd
In
be
front of all
sacked,
these
for
people.
sure.
yeah. But I think if I'd said that very sentence you were just saying, you'd be thinking, "Oh, Jeffrey, what a stick in the mud! Just roll with it, bro." And then,
Well,
that sort of
I
thing.
just felt like
Yeah.
they kind of went way down one direction of being dramatic and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then
tear jerking.
I
and
totally
all that.
bought into that, but then they try and jolly us
Lighten
all
them.
up or lighten it at the end of that by saying, "Oh, it was all just a big
Big act.
acting job," and everyone knew what. So he called the guards off to emphasise the act that he no longer cared about Leon, and
Yeah.
Leon can just walk out.
Yep.
If it was an act, why would he have called the guards off?
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
And what if Leon had called his bluff?
Yeah, well,
Then-
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If Leon had just kept walking,
Mm.
the guards would have been gone and he
Ah.
would have left. And then Mrs. Lund would be really annoyed.
Oh, yeah. Then he'd
Christine?
definitely be fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
It just felt a bit messy to me.
it was a little bit, yes.
But it is nice to have a sitcom that has a bit of
Heart.
heart, a few earnest characters who are actually trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like The Good Place so much.
Yep.
And you think, poor old Cheaty, he's just trying to do his best here with this crew of people, and he doesn't even realise that he's one of the infuriating people that needs help. But yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying.
I like the way that the people around him are trying to lift Harry out of this funk that he gets in during the episode. Because they're not really looking... Well, I know Mac is totally into the party, but for the rest of them, I wouldn't say they're looking forward to it.
No, Dan wants to go
They don't
to
embrace
a
it.
better party.
Yep. The rest of them kind of put up with it, but I think they go because they love Harry. So
Yeah.
yeah, so they want him to kind of get out of that funk that he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all working to try and give him a bit of a boost. I wanted to talk about the joke at the end of the episode,
Right.
and is this a bit on the nose in this day and age?
What? The Dorothy, I don't think we're in Kansas.
Oh no, I haven't even got to that bit.
Oh, okay,
that bit
right,
yet.
yes.
Just the idea
The
that
whole setup. Yeah.
Vince would have a party
Exclusively populated by little people, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, there is a chance that being a little person, a lot of his friends might be little people as well, because they can identify with what it's like to live that way. Therefore, he's got a whole bunch of pals who also happen to be little people, and he's just inviting them around for a party. I don't know. That's one simple explanation.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you if the device is
the device, yeah.
on the nose or not.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it helps to look at who the victim is here. Who's the victim here? Who's getting made fun of? I'd argue Dan.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that approach.
Right.
What about the fact that they're not even in Halloween costumes?
Costume, yeah.
Not only are they an exclusive club, these
Yeah.
dwarves, but they're not even fun-loving.
Oh, wow. I don't know. They probably haven't had time to get any drinks in them yet. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these days, obviously, you wouldn't do it. That's right. And what's the
point.
mayor's status in all of this? Or is that just a rumour?
Look, now, is this a plot hole that
I think
is
it
the
could be
mayor a
plot
little
hole.
person?
I don't know.
And therefore in the crowd?
Yeah, no. I'm going to argue no. I think it was a
Is the
rumour
whole
that the
upper
mayor
sc-
was going to be there. In fact, I wouldn't put it past the cast member lady who said, I heard the mayor's going to be there, setting Dan up beautifully
Ooh.
because she knows the mayor's not going to be there, says the mayor's going to be there,
Oh,
which
that would be super
prompts
sweet.
Dan onto new heights of stupidity.
I think the scriptwriter missed a trick there,
Oh, okay, fair enough.
because if she'd said
To
to
Harry
Harry,
that she's just told a fib.
that would have been sweet.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right then.
Yeah. Oh, I like that even better.
Yeah, well, maybe it was cut for time.
Maybe they should have cut one of the other gags that didn't work so
Well,
didn't
quite.
work so well. Yes, anyway, so as you were alluding to previously, when Dan comes in and it's revealed that he's in the midst of a party full of little people,
Yeah.
he says, Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Yeah.
Now, tell me why that is very funny.
I don't know. Why is it very funny?
Because
It's
in The
just-
Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy turns up in Munchkin Land,
Right.
she says, I don't think we're in Kansas
Right,
anymore.
I
And
haven't
then the Munchkins appear.
Oh, okay. Right. Now I see. I haven't watched The Wizard of Oz in donkey's years.
Oh, come on, Jeff.
Right. Okay. Now I understand. All right. Well
I only
done.
know because I looked it up.
Yeah, they're there as a room full of little people to be called munchkins. End of story.
No,
There's the gag.
I thought Dan had just kind of buried himself so far at that point that he
He might as well whip out
might
a
as
funny
well
gag.
completely blow his career. I don't know. So what about the performances? Because you've already said that you thought John Larroquette was completely over the top.
Yeah.
In a good way, or
He's very over the top. Well, I was thinking to myself that, all right, your workplace is going to have one or two characters, right? Now, Bull obviously isn't realistic in, that wouldn't go down in the real world in the same way that, I'm comparing this to news radio. News radio is a radio station full of absolute characters. And here I am, and I was thinking of criticising Night Court, saying no workplace would have this many wackadoodle characters. But then you look at a lot of sitcoms and,
Yep.
like Seinfeld, News Radio, all these shows, all the characters are off the wall. But, John Larroquette's all right. He's a bit slimy, but that's the character, not him. Yeah.
yeah. Well, with
Well,
so many
he's charismatic, he's engaging, it's all there.
with so many earnest characters who are trying to do the right thing, you've got to have at least one person who's completely self-centered and
Yeah.
trying to gratify their own desires and whatnot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't work.
This comes down to my whole thing with this sitcom, is
Well,
that
which is what?
that you can see quite easily why people would love these characters and why it would be successful. And so people keep tuning back in to see what these characters do. And you've got the range of them and you like them for different reasons. And they all rely on each other. And so I see that as being very separate to the actual mechanics of the sitcom and all that sort of stuff. But either way, keep going and we'll get there in the end.
Yep. What about the kid who plays Leon crying?
He literally went wah, like it was in the script and he thought he had to stick to the script.
Was he? So he wasn't being ironic and
No,
playing it for
because-
laughs then? He was...
Well, this is what I was wondering because that's the only explanation. The only explanation, but he genuinely looked as if he was about to cry. And then he exclaims, wah, and buries his head in
in the embrace of Christine.
one of the very sympathetic ladies. Yes. And then we don't get to see him for the rest of the show because he's buried in there for the rest of the show until he comes back out and says, all right, bro, I was playing you the whole time.
Yep.
Right.
I thought it was pretty shocking.
So there's two explanations. One is that he was absolutely laying it on and faking the crying and all that, but I think he was genuinely hurt, the kiddie. Or the other explanation is
So he
that
was
the
one of
actor
the-
was literally reading the script and went wah.
Yeah. Either way, it was pretty poor.
Well, I've got thoughts and notes on the
Right.
kid.
Seeing as we're in the kid zone.
So the dude playing Leon, right, he's obviously can deliver a line in a naturalistic way.
Yep.
The kid is clearly, the character of Leon is a very intelligent, borderline manipulative, very good character. And I reckon if I'd actually seen all those older episodes with him in it, then I'd have a few more feelings towards him. Right, so this actor guy playing Leon can deliver a line naturalistically. He's got it all down. He's got a big, bright, beautiful smile and all the stuff you need.
Yep.
But his timing is very poor. So, Harry says line, 3-second pause, and then the kiddie playing Leon delivers the line perfectly. And if he just timed it better, it would have been fantastic. Did you think something similar or not really?
No, I didn't notice so much the timing.
No? Oh, okay. What did you think about his acting skills then?
Oh, well, I couldn't get past the crying, really.
Couldn't get past. Oh, well.
They completely threw me.
Well, my notes say
It
Leon...
took me out of it.
Yeah, Leon good at his lines, charismatic but poor timing, actually went wah.
I thought the guy who plays Bull, I think, had the best timing out of anyone.
Yeah. And now that I've seen him, I recognise him from an episode of Married with Children.
Ah,
Yeah, playing a gangster. So he had a gangster moustache and a gangster beard and, a Chicago hat wearing, that sort of gangster. Yeah.
okay. Cool, I might have to look that up.
Yeah. And that character particularly is the most unrealistic one who I think couldn't exist in the real world. So at the end, it's hilarious. Where they're talking about the acting and Christine couldn't see was acting, he turns to her and says, "Look, I have 3 working brain cells."
Yeah.
And even I could see
He pauses and goes, and even I knew that it was an act.
Ah.
Oh, well, there's 2 gags. The 2 gags which are slotted into the dramatic scene is the one where he says, "Synonyms are my life." Well, no person with 3 brain cells would come out with something like that.
No, that's right.
And the other one is where he's...
Did he say synonyms or did he say synonyms?
Synonym...
One of them.
Synonym.
One of them.
And then the other one where he's kind of guessing what emotions Harry's going through. He comes out with some very psychological
cool
kind of terms for what he might be feeling.
But that's weird because the description that you read out from Wikipedia or IMDb said he was a bit thick.
No, it says he appears to be.
He appears to be thick, but he's not.
Look, I'm just...
Or maybe he is. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. I'm gone to all the trouble of zipping back up to the...
No. Well, one of my favourite
Seemingly
gags...
dim-witted.
Seemingly dim-witted, okay. One of the best gags, as you mentioned earlier, it was Bull, where he goes, "I tried to grab Leon, but he scrambled up my chest and over my back."
Yeah.
And you can just imagine it like a kitten.
Yep.
Going... And off he scuttles.
Yep.
And he's gone.
Should we go to some gags then?
Yeah.
Do you want to lead off with a couple?
What I did like is when they're charging Easy Mary.
Yep.
And then she's got her sentence laid out and she can see Harry's not himself and he needs a bit of cheering up. She goes, "Oh, come along to my party. That'll cheer you up. We're going to play bobbing for birthmarks." And so
What's his line?
He very kindly says, "Well, I never mix bobbing with business."
Yes.
I mean, that's just gold. Or
Yeah.
the both of them.
Yep. That was very good.
It conjures up such a brilliant image. Both those gags were really good. Yes, and the only other one I've got is
yes.
at the very end, of course, where Dan's desperate to be off to this party. There's a whole stream of good lines from him. But then Leon says, "All right, well, I'm out of here." And Dan's so exasperated by that point, he just goes, "Well, here," holds out his car keys and says, "Take my car, Leon. Just get the hell out of here." But it was the way it was delivered. It was very, very good.
Yes. Well, I've got some.
Okay.
In fact, I don't think I've got any of the ones that you just mentioned.
Oh, good. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, so my first one is back at the start, where Mac is having some fun because the party favours have just arrived.
Yeah, and he's holding this big box full
he's
of
holding the
party
big
stuff.
box. So he explains how he ended up with Pete the alien popping out of his chest, and he says that it's because they were fresh out of sucking chest wounds. Quite like that. That was good. That was good fun. And then, looking through the box, Christine notices this cute little green thing, and she exclaims, "Why can't you have more things like that?" Harry says, "Oh, this is a goblin," and then he grabs it and he squeezes it, and all this red goo pops out through its eyeballs
Eyes
and
and ears
and everything like that.
Ah.
And then he goes back for a second squeeze, gets even more out.
But like once you've done that, do you get refills?
Well, that's what I was thinking. They must, either they did
He's
it in one
blown the
take.
gag early. Yeah.
Either they did it in one take, or they must have had a number of these goblins.
Yeah.
I like the one.
It would be a cool thing to have though.
What, a goblin that oozes red
That
stuff.
oozes red stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a one-time thing, isn't it?
Possibly so.
You can't. How do you refill it?
I don't know.
Impossible.
There'll be something you can undo at the bottom, a plug, and then refill it with what? But it looked like pretty specialist goo. Yeah. Oh well, let's not think about that.
All right. Let's not get too distracted.
Yeah.
I like the bit where Vince is in the hall and Dan comes sliding in, and Harry says, "Oh, I remember who told me now." It was pretty obvious. And when Harry offers Dan to come to his party, because he's trying to get everyone to his party, Dan says, "Oh, I can slobber over you anytime."
Yeah. Straight to the judge, who you shouldn't be annoying if you want to win more cases.
Yep.
So if he was a proper professional suck-up, he'd be completely sucking up to Harry all the time.
Yep. Well, further in that vein, Dan is trying to get Harry's attention in court because he's trying to keep things moving.
Oh, that was good.
He clicks his fingers and says, "Over here, boy." He does this thing with his tongue. I don't know if you saw that. It was really funny. I don't know if he intentionally did it as part of the act. Or, that was really funny. There's this bit where Harry and Leon are in the office. This is while Harry's called the recess. Obviously, everyone's just milling about waiting for him to come back. And Ball has knocked on the door and, said, "I guess we're waiting for you," or something like that. And Harry, I don't think he replies or something like that. And then Ball says, "Can you at least RSVP?" There you go. That's good delivery when the line can make you laugh when it's said
that's
from
true.
through a door.
Yeah. And I'm just maybe thinking now, is it because we've got all these party things going on that it's an extra layer because of the RSVP thing?
No.
A little extra layer there.
Yeah, a little party.
I don't know.
Little party gag there.
Yeah.
Bull is downcast following Harry's tirade because he tried to catch Leon.
Yep.
And
he did cop a massive serve from Harry,
he
though.
cops a massive serve. Anyway, as he's getting the serve, he kind of looks down at the ground.
Like a guilty little boy.
And at the very end of the tirade, there's a bit of a pause and he goes, "Wow, these babies really need to shine." And he just hasn't been listening to it at all.
No, he tuned out.
It's completely washed over him. Oh, that was funny. Christine, after she's completely had a massive rant at Harry, he goes, "Oh no, you're actually right." And she goes, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah.
Worried that she's about to be sacked from her job as the public defender because she's just completely railed against the judge in his courtroom.
Well, yeah, now that I think about it, judges shouldn't have any influence over who gets hired and fired, should they?
No, but
lawyer-wise. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. I know exactly what you mean.
Technically, I'm sure he could make her life a bit difficult.
Call the boss and then say, yeah.
Yep. Well, I've run out of gags now because we've already talked about the Toto. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Right.
One. Yes, I was just going to say, as you probably guessed by now, I'm not rating this a 5-star episode at all.
Oh, okay.
I've took a leaf out of your book last week or last fortnight and thought, let's just have some Halloween fun and pull something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while.
Yeah, anytime we have a theme episode, I think it gives us a get out of jail free card.
Yes. What would you rate that one, Jeff?
Oh, I'd call it a 3.
Solid 3?
Yeah. I mean, it's got good characters and good cast and all that. I've written down some bad gags.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that you can see why they would be funny. And I think they were meant to be bad gags. But when a second box of props comes into the courtroom and Christine pulls one out and says, she pulls out like a heart because obviously Harry earlier had a brain in his office. Woo! And she pulls out this heart and goes, "I've always worn my heart on my sleeve," she says, holding it to her sleeve.
Yep.
And they're just going, And so then she pulls out this plastic bag full of parts of, intestinal organs and stuff. And she goes, "Oh, you could say I'm a gal with guts." And I'm just going, these are the worst gags I've ever heard in my life.
It's meant to be a bad gag. She's reaching to try and pull Harry out of his bad mood.
And it doesn't even work.
No, probably made it worse.
That was terrible. But it's just such an excellent opportunity for all these prop gags.
Yeah, if we had a bit more time, they could have had the party afterwards.
Well, yeah, in fact, some people would say, why show us all of this stuff? Why didn't you just have an entire episode at the party? Well, which sounds a lot more fun.
Well, because I'm guessing they did that last time.
Oh, yeah, well, they might well have done. Yes, I did like the thing about calling back to that party. She got bitten by an entree last year. Yeah, show us that. I want to see a party where people get bitten by entrees. That would have been much better. So, yeah, all in all, there wasn't a lot of Halloween in this, apart from at the beginning and at the end, I thought. So what are we doing? We're not even voting on this thing?
No, we're not even putting the motion forward.
All right, cool. So then we'll have November, November normality, and then December Christmas.
Yes, we'll get back to trying to get some 5-star episodes into the Hall of Fame next month.
All right, jolly good.
We'll look forward to talking to everyone in about a fortnight's time.
Excellent.
See you, everyone.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Join us next time on Sitcom Showdown when we'll be putting another 5-star episode under the microscope. And in the meantime, you can contact us with feedback on Facebook, Twitter @Sitcom Showdown, or by email sitcomshowdown@gmail.com.